Hey everybody, welcome to the Waco Collective. My name is Matthew. Today we're here at Waco Neurotherapy, located at 1101 Wooded Acres Drive, Suite 103 in Waco, Texas. Now today we get the honor and privilege to sit down with owner and CEO, Dr. Paul Fillmore of Waco Neurotherapy, and he's gonna help us walk through how neurotherapy can help optimize our brain function and how it can help treat the symptoms of brain conditions and injuries such as ADHD, autism, and aphasia. So let's go meet up with Dr. Fillmore so we can learn more. Dr. Fillmore, thank you so much for letting us be here. I would love to get some insight on what is neurotherapy and how is that utilized in situations. Could you give us some information on that?
So neurotherapy is kind of a newer term. It's used to encompass a lot of different methods that we can use for treating the brain directly. So the same way that you might go to a traditional talk therapist to talk about symptoms of anxiety or depression or different things that you're struggling with, neurotherapy works on those same sorts of things, but by kind of addressing the brain directly. With talk therapy, you're kind of talking through a problem and hoping that your brain changes over time as a result. We just kind of come at it from the other way of trying to optimize brain function so that hopefully if you are doing talk therapy, you can respond better to that, or speech therapy or physical therapy or anything that you're doing to try and kind of work on healing from some specific condition. So those conditions can be as varied as having a stroke and having language problems after, which is called aphasia, to autism, to ADHD is a very common condition that we work with. So neurotherapy can address a lot of different things.
Yeah, so it sounds like there's a wide variety of areas that this can really benefit just a client, whether it's a brain injury or a condition or something of that sort. Well, I would love to dive in and just kind of go through this process with you and just ask some more and just help educate us through the process if you want to dive in. So what we're going to be doing right now is going to be neurofeedback, right?
Yeah, so neurofeedback is the first of the kind of methods that we use, and I'd probably say the most dominant one. So most of the stuff that we do in the clinic is all based around the brain's patterns of electrical activity. So to measure that, we use a device called EEG, or electroencephalography, that just sits on the scalp and measures the electricity that's measurable there. And we look at ways that kind of is in normal ranges or outside normal ranges. And when you have things that are kind of outside the norm in terms of your electrical activity in the brain, and so you're also really anxious or really depressed, when those things go together, that says, oh, okay, this is a clear problem that we can treat and try and find you ways to change that electrical activity and make it healthier.
Okay. Wow. Well, I'm excited. Let's go ahead and dive in and get started.
All right. So if you look up on the screen here, you'll see all these different colored lines that are individual centers that we're reading from with your brain's activity. Kind of these guys up near the top are near the front of the head. These guys down at the bottom are near the back of the head. And you can kind of see each one's doing a little bit different, but they're all like somewhat similar. So each one of these we can kind of look in real time, see if all these kind of patterns of squiggles up and down are within normal ranges for the patterns that we might expect to see, or if they're kind of going to be different than that. And again, we'll kind of look at the ones that are not quite normal, and help you to train those into healthier patterns.
So do you see, like, throughout different, I would say, cases or clients and different things, patterns change based off of how the brain activity and the things that you mentioned before, these look different based off different stuff? Yeah,
definitely we see different patterns. So say if somebody had like a brain injury, usually we'd see a lot more kind of like slow wave activity, kind of like bigger ups and downs.
Okay.
If someone's real anxious, you'll see some kind of like what you see in this pattern a little bit, where it's kind of like little and chunky, where that's actually picking up on some muscle activity in this case. But if we're seeing kind of anxious patterns, they'll look a little bit more like that kind of faster activity that appears when your brain is kind of in the right zone, doing the right thing.
Okay.
You want to focus on keeping that green dot there and as big as it can be. You're also going to hear kind of a series of beeps, and you just want to keep those going.
Okay.
And you might ask, well, how am I going to do that?
We'll figure it out.
That's a great question, and that's kind of part of the process that's difficult. Is a lot of it is not really like under conscious control. It's your brain kind of figuring out what it has to do and making a way to do it.
Yeah.
So with this particular training, we're working on what's called the brain's default mode network. It's kind of its resting idle sort of system.
Right.
And so what you want to do is just kind of relax into it and let your brain figure out how to do what it needs to do.
Okay.
How are you feeling?
Feeling pretty good.
Good.
It's Hairdo Friday. Dr. Fillmore, we're in your office now, and can you tell us a little bit more about brain stimulation and this part of it right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're going to be doing today is called transcranial direct current stimulation. So what that means is just like the equivalent of a 9-volt battery worth of current is going to like get on the scalp and is going to pass through into the brain. Okay. And it's going to go from one electrode to another and kind of like pass across the head in that way. Okay. So it usually feels really mild. You might feel kind of like a little bit of tingling, but it shouldn't be uncomfortable at all. If it is, please let me know.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Matthew, this is our photobiomodulation system. Looks like a real fancy bike helmet. But if you look inside, what we've got is all these individual LED lights. Yeah. There's 270 of them in there, I think, and each one of those is going to pass light through your skull and scalp and actually hit brain tissue directly. And it does some really, really cool stuff. So a lot of the methods we use are understood from like a pretty like high level. This, they know kind of at the cellular level exactly what's happening and how the light affects things. So it's kind of one of the most like hardcore science-backed pieces out there. So the lights as they hit the brain tissue are going to reduce inflammation. Wow. They're going to help increase blood flow and do kind of everything that they can to help the functions of those cells work better. All right, so let's pop it right on like that. So if you want to strap in, you're welcome to, but whatever is kind of most comfortable for you.
Hey, my mom always told me to strap in my helmet. So
yes,
I'm going to follow her instructions.
So in terms of settings, there's different things that we can do. There's kind of like 4 like preset programs on here. The glow setting runs it at full strength, and that's the one that like mainly focuses on kind of cellular health. But you can also have ones that kind of, instead of like it being on all the way, modulates it up and down at different frequencies. And that kind of then ties into the brain waves that we've been talking about all along and kind of stimulating different frequencies. So for example, this first one stimulates the alpha frequency and it's called peace. It really helps you with relaxation, reducing stress. It can help a lot with sleep. So this is one that we have people use at home before they go to bed, and we'll kind of put the brain in that right space where they're relaxed and ready to go to sleep. There's another one called Focus. This works on like gamma rhythm of brain activity, and that's kind of things that you really need when you're like really engaged in a task. It's tied in with consciousness and a lot of other things. So we can kind of boost that to increase clarity, help you concentrate. This other one's called Energize. And that works on the beta frequency of brain activity, which is another one that you're using when you're kind of really engaged in a task. That helps kind of increase blood flow, oxygenation, and kind of just get your brain ready to be active and do some good work. So we'll try the glow setting and just see kind of how that feels for you. When I'm wearing it, I just feel like, oh, this feels good. This is like good for my brain right now. Like,
Hey everybody, we just finished up with our Waco Collective episode right here with Dr. Fillmore with Waco Neurotherapy. Dr. Fillmore, share with the folks where they can find more information about what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. You can find us everywhere online. So our website's www.waconeurotherapy.com, on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, Waco Neurotherapy or Waco Neuro. And you can always give us a call at 254-203-5099 or shoot us an email at info@waconeurotherapy.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. That's going to finish us up for today. Guys, we'll see you soon.